So I watched both Super Mario Brothers movie and Super Mario Galaxy in a span of 2 days apart from each other. Would I agree with the hype? Yeah. Yeah, I would. They're well-animated films with fun little Easter eggs, cameos, and references from the video games that we all cherish and love to this day. And many of us fans of the Mario games would expect that, especially after the last time they did that. That was a tragedy. So of course Universal and Illumination Animation gave the people what they wanted, and they got exactly that. I enjoyed these movies for what they were, just a bit of eye candy for the big screen. But at the same time, I am still a movie critic at the end. So I'm going to talk about these films as, well, films. Just for a second. I'll compliment them later in the video, but just hear me out for a second. The Easter eggs, the cameos, and the references are fun to watch. When you watch these as movies, you expect to find these little details because you get a kick out of them from seeing them from your favorite video games or in the Mario universe with these video game characters and features. That's what you'd expect to see. And the animation makes it all colorful and fun to look at. But the problem is they forgot to make the movie first. And the movie needs a story and good writing. If you want to be a comedy, you gotta be funny. And if you want to be a film, you gotta be better paced. And unfortunately, neither of these films do any of that. If we're talking about like story structure, the story itself is very basic in terms of the Mario franchise. It's just brave hero saves a princess from a fire-breathing dragon that wants to destroy everything. It couldn't be any more basic than that. And I think the movies cherish that likeness of that. In terms of the comedy, it is very average. And especially coming from the people that made Teen Titans Go, I would expect nothing less than average. And not only that, it's Illumination Animation. They're not exactly the best when it comes to comedy or even just animation storytelling in general. It's just, they're mostly pretty bad. And I think the worst part of it all, aside from the bad casting choices, is the poor pacing. It seems like for both movies, it seems like it's trying to get itself out of its way. Like, it's got its cameos, it's got its Easter eggs, whatever. But it also seems like it's trying to get itself over with. Like, it's trying to fill out a checklist of things that it needs to have in these movies so that they can profit off of people's ticket sales. And, I mean, it works, clearly, but people keep coming back. I personally think they deserve a bit better. I think if they had better eyes and better imaginative directors behind the project, I think it could have been better. Like, if they had like Phil Lord and Christopher Miller instead of the guys that made Teen Titans Go, I think these movies would have fared much better in terms of story structure and those basic things I mentioned earlier. If they had those things, it actually would have been a lot better. I know I'm being a little harsh on all these films. I am judging them as films because I am a film critic after all. I'm getting to my point in a second. Just hear me out. If we see something like Spider-Man No Way Home, that has filled with nostalgic cameos, like with villains that came from previous Spider-Man movies. Those you can get a kick out of, as well as having the original Spider-Mans that came out before with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. But while you still have a kick out of your nostalgic little phase, you still have a good story to go along with it, and good characters, and a great plot to go along with it. So it's like you have the best of all forms of media inside one big nostalgic package. So while you still have those cameos, you still have a good story in there. And the same goes with the Lego movie. You have all your favorite products into one big magnum opus while also having a good story behind it because you have good writers and good directors behind the project. What the Mario movie kind of fails to do is have that basic story structure to have your eyes glued on the screen as opposed to having those cameos. With that being said, however, I still enjoyed them for what they were. Simply because these movies aren't really trying to be anything but what they're supposed to be. I already said Illumination is not very good with storytelling or structure, but I think they know that, and they weren't shy of letting people know about it when they were making these films, and it clearly shows. But I think that was kind of the point. And nobody really paid the price of admission and walked into the theater expecting like Citizen Kane or Anomalisa. They just wanted a dumb, fun movie for fans of the beloved video game series and nothing more. And Illumination and Nintendo knew this. That's why they didn't take it so seriously. And that's also why we shouldn't take it so seriously. And despite my criticism towards these films, I still enjoyed watching them, they were still fun to watch. They were still colorfully animated and very well handled in terms of that. Do I wish it was structured better in terms of story? Yes. Do I wish it was paced better? Yes. Do I wish there were better voice casting choices that are more clever in terms of voice acting? Absolutely. Do I wish there was more insight in terms of what the relationships are with two siblings and a father and son duo? Yes. I would love all of those things to be intertwined with each other with what they do well with these films. But at the same time, I wouldn't trust Illumination to do that. I would trust maybe another animation company do it, like, say, DreamWorks or, hell, even Disney. So coming from these guys, I wouldn't expect anything more than what they give, and quite honestly, because of how low my expectations were, I think I got exactly what I wanted, and I couldn't ask for much more than that. As much as I would want these movies to be better, I'm okay with how things were as they were presented. I honestly wouldn't doubt me watching the third movie that comes out. I know it's inevitably going to happen. I mean, the first movie is not only Illumination's highest grossing animated film in their archive, but it's the highest grossing video game adaptation of all time. So that's not the reason why I'm watching it. I just simply had fun with what was given to me, and I didn't expect anything more than what they gave me. As far as Illumination movies go, honestly, both Mario movies are probably the most tolerable and the least annoying in comparison to what they normally do. So in a way, I was kind of surprised of how much I enjoyed them. I do wish it was better structured in terms of just basic story structure and filmmaking, but at the same time, I wasn't expecting it, and I got exactly what I paid for. And you know what? I can't be mad at that, and I don't think I'll ever be. With that being said, I think there's a wrong that I have to right. But that will be for next time.